I've been thinking about this conversation for the past couple of months. Thinking about what to say, how to share, how to unpack Q3 of the golf year, of the golf season, the golf progress, the quest to be a 5-handicap by December 31st, 2025. And on brand, on theme of honesty, vulnerability today, I've been staring blankly at this screen for 15 minutes prior to finally working up the energy, the courage to hit that record button. And that's because today I'm going to honor the one truth I promised from episode number 1. And that was simply my commitment to be vulnerable, to share the messiness of life, which sometimes you and I experience that messiness on the course. More often than not, though, it's the off-the-course messiness that begins to bleed into the on-course messiness. And that's what opens up the floodgates for frustration, doubt, uncertainty, anger, agitation, regret, guilt, and so on and so forth. But before we dive in, hey, welcome back, fellow golfer, to another episode of the Scratch Golfer's Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Paul Salter, the golf hypnotherapist, and I'm a mindset and performance coach who helps high achievers dismantle the destructive patterns of thinking, feeling, believing, and behaving that are keeping them stuck from achieving their potential, both on and off the course. And I've got an opportunity here to lead by example. And the theme of today's conversation, I'm hopeful that comes across to you, is the power of vulnerability, the power of honesty and ruthless vulnerability, both with yourself and your trusted community, friends, significant other, coaches, whoever that may be. Because honestly, I'm here today to recap my Q3 golf season, my golf progress. But I could do that in about 60 to 90 seconds. I could sit here and tell you that at the end of Q2, my handicap index was a 15.8. At the end of Q3, I sit here having played a total of 4 rounds in Q3, one of which was traveling with rental clubs, and that my handicap index is a 15.0. And on one end, fantastic to me to reflect and see that my handicap has dropped after a very challenging 3+, really 5-6+ months completely away from the golf course. And, for obvious reasons, as I begin to share more, it'll make sense why I'm keeping things short and sweet. The goal today, though, is to share with you what's gone well, what I've learned, to provide you with a few different reframes, opportunities for a perspective shift, and the tools that have best served me as I've navigated this period of time filled with uncertainty, hardship, and challenge. And it's really simple. My son's mother and I are not together any longer. And if you're a parent, you understand that raising a child is hard enough. Doing it, practically on your own for portions of time while navigating all of the emotional chaos when you're not specifically enjoying that one-to-one time with your son or daughter. It's quite a challenge. It is quite a challenge to say the least. And these challenges date back 5-6+ months. And it reached a point this summer where golf had to take a significant back seat, because there were so many other higher priorities in terms of figuring out what is next, what is in the best interest of my son, honoring my commitment to be a present, loving, supportive father in every aspect, every single day. And as I record this episode, a little more clarity and structure with regards to how we are spending time with our son independently and what that looks like is coming to fruition. And that's a really good place. Yet, the reason I share this with you is to help you understand, and really not even understand, but give you permission. I understand how much you love this game, this beautiful game, this mirror of our own personal development journey, this vesicle for personal growth. Yet at the end of the day, the vast majority of you listening don't do this full time. You are not a professional golfer. Many of you are husbands or wives. Many of you are parents. And there will be seasons of life, periods of time, where you have to find a way to reach radical acceptance that for the time being, your priorities have shifted. And it doesn't mean a significant hardship has to appear as the catalyst for when and why and how your priorities shift. It's just to reflect back to you that the more you fight a significant change in environment, priority, or circumstances, the stronger that resistance is going to bite back and punch you in the mouth. The sooner you can reach a place of radical acceptance and understand what is happening in the here and now, what is a priority in the here and now, the quicker you can begin to move forward from a place of inner peace, contentment, and acceptance with an acknowledgement and understanding that this is not forever. This is not forever. You know, the mistake I've made in the past, because I've been through some challenge, I've been through some hardship, is not being able to see a way out of it, being so consumed and wrapped up in the emotionality of whatever I was dealing with that I allowed it to overwhelm me. I allowed it to consume me. And I allowed those toxic emotions to remain in the driver's seat of my decision-making and action-taking, not doing a good job calling upon some of the tools, the resources, most importantly, the people I've had in my life that could have helped me get through that period, help me take that big step back to achieve that 30,000-foot objective view to understand again, one chapter, one season, one period of life. It's not forever. And a quote I often come back to on this is that you can outlast temporary. So I'll break down a little more golf. I'll share some insights, some learning lessons, some highlights, and a lot more clarity and structure that's beginning to unfold into Q4. The big tournament that's circled on my calendar I'll be participating in at the end of the month. But I want to share some learning lessons. Almost it's like I'm doing an after-round report of Q3 completely away from the golf course, which is something I have the vast majority of my clients do on a monthly or a quarterly basis, is reflection, reflection, reflection. Your willingness to slow down and reflect, your willingness to review and reread past journal entries, note-taking sessions is what's going to accelerate pattern recognition, which provides you the clarity you need to fully understand the impact some of your decisions and actions are having on your desire to move towards your goal. So we're going to get a little ruthless reflection going on what has gone well. And to be candid, I think the action step I am most proud of is more than any other time in my life, I have asked for help. You know, when I went through a divorce 5 years ago, I didn't tell some of my best friends for 6-7 months, if not longer. I was embarrassed. There was a lot of shame, confusion, guilt, shame, embarrassment, anger, sadness. So I kept it close to the vest. I thought I could muscle through it. Update, it didn't really work very well for me. So I learned from that. And I reached out to friends. I reached out to a lot of friends, actually. Like, hey, here's what's going on. I don't need anything at the moment, but I want you to know. And just being able to share that, first and foremost, talk about a weight being lifted, to be heard, to have a bit of empathy, compassion, someone to say they're there for me, it's made me feel more courageous, just sharing, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what I do or do not need. It's helped me strengthen my ability to communicate what it is I do and don't need, really clarify, build up, and then reinforce those boundaries to protect my energy, to protect my well-being, to be at my absolute best given the circumstances every time I have the wonderful opportunity to spend with my son. So a lot of pride in asking for help, sharing what's going on. What does that look like? It's text messages and phone calls with friends. It's meeting frequently. I say that with a laugh because my coach has been nothing short of phenomenal with my own mindset and performance coach. Because I've told you this many, many times. You can't separate the one version of you. There's not a golf version of you and a personal life version of you or a professional life version of you. You bring your whole self to the course. And there's been a handful of practice sessions throughout the last 3 to 6 months where I have struggled to focus, where I have struggled to execute. And I have arrived almost using golf as an escape from all I had going on. But as I began leaning into asking for help, sharing, as I began, and this is the second thing I'm most proud of, doing an incredible, deliberate job utilizing the resources, tools, and modalities I had to protect my energy and peace, now it was almost like my time on the course was therapeutic. And lo and behold, skill acquisition, skill integration really began to deepen, intensify, and manifest both on the range, the short course, in a couple of those rounds I played. And again, we'll come back to that. The second thing, as I alluded to, is how well I have done really utilizing the tools and modalities I have to protect my peace, my energy. It's a relentless commitment to my cold plunge, meditation once, if not twice a day, frequency of communication and conversation with my coach, a committed, non-negotiable journaling practice. I can't tell you how many days in between my coaching calls I'd lay down and close my eyes. Some days that was all the energy I had. Let's do the absolute best I can to deliver high quality, phenomenal coaching sessions. And in between, sleep, rest, close my eyes when I had that opportunity to reset and recharge. And what I really learned is, you have an external stressor on your plate. It challenges you. It gives you an opportunity to reevaluate what's important, what matters, and what's important and what matters now. Goes back to that Eisenhower matrix. It's the urgency and the important. And when your time and your reality has been significantly shaken up, it really is a powerful time for reflection should you choose to view it that way. And one of my ongoing challenges my entire life is I want to do all of the things. I want to do all of the things really well. And I want to do all of the things now, if not yesterday. Can you tell patience is a work in progress? Yet, it's given me a lot of clarity. It's forced me to sit with some uncomfortable truths, some updated circumstances, and a whole range and spectrum of different emotions. And it's because of my willingness to sit in the cold tub, in meditation, in silence, in non-deep sleep rest, in journaling, that I've been able to connect the dots significantly more quickly than I would have in the past. Now, I can also tell you one of the mantras I've created and I continue to come back to right here that I think you need to hear as well is to let go to level up. To create a future that is so exciting it consumes your present moment rather than letting the past dictate how you feel, how you'll move forward. If you continue to let the past have power over you, you'll continue to make the same mistakes and fall victim to that 2 steps forward, 3 steps back pattern. You've got to let go. So I've used this as an opportunity to identify my own patterns of feeling, thinking, believing, and behaving that are getting in the way, keeping me stuck, holding me back from ascending into that next best version of myself. And it's been humbling. It's been hard. It's been rewarding. It's been challenging. It's tested my patience. It's made me confront a lot of preconceived notions as it's continued to really give me a chance to build a new reality, step into and embody a new identity these past 3, 4, 5, 6 months. And it's an ongoing work in progress. Yet the more I have been willing to sit in the silence, confront the hard, challenging darkness, the more light I've seen, the more lightness I've experienced. And that's part of Really, the evolution, the reason you're here, the evolution on the golf course is you sitting in the discomfort of one challenging practice after the next, a few poor rounds here and there, yet utilizing them, learning from them, seeing them as growth or teaching opportunities to continue evolving, sharpening one tool or aspect of your game at a time, so that as you continue to bring them all online simultaneously at a more consistent clip, you continue to see scores go lower and lower and lower. So for me and for you, what that looks like and translates to off the course is you continue to evolve and sharpening your tools, being humble, courageous, and patient enough to look inward. What happens is you suddenly become desensitized to some of the triggers that previously sent you off the edge. And you continue to be able to find a place of silence, peace, and solitude amongst all of the chaos. You learn to let go of that which you cannot control. And again, this is always an evolution. It's not cut and dry. It's not light switch on or off. It's not ever a perfection that you are striving for, that I am striving for. It is a process, and it's the pursuit of this perfection that you need to learn to anchor your results, your feedback, how you evaluate yourself on, so that you continue to remain fueled, focused, and excited about the journey, the destination that you are working toward. Sometimes I still feel I'm at a loss of words here. It's not my typical episode, but again, I made this commitment to you to be vulnerable. Someone posted a review on Apple Podcast the other day, which I'm so grateful for. Thank you for that review. They're like, and I'm going to butcher it, but they said more or less like, really enjoy the show, but as a father, like, I miss your golf updates. And that hit me. It was like, interesting, because like golf has been so far down the priority list the last few months, yet it's been something I've thought about so much every single day. And it's such a weird dichotomy. But in that has been an opportunity. I can't tell you how many times I've played the front nine of my local course, Tampa Palms, in my mind. I can't tell you how many times I've replayed the lessons I've taken throughout the past 3 months in my mind, and then kind of visualize myself integrating after my coach left and continuing to pour into more practice, implementing what it is I've worked on or what I've been taught. I've played a lot of golf in my mind the past few months. And I can candidly tell you, I feel my ball striking is the best it's ever been. Now, N equals 3 or 4 for the longest of time, but when I did play my last competitive round, or I should say serious structured round with a good buddy client of mine who came down in September, hands down the best ball striking I've experienced to date. Smoking the ball. And it was really encouraging. Really encouraging. So the third point that I wrote down that I wanted to share with you is just the impact that coaching has. Coaching collapses your timeline to process, learn, and grow, which inevitably allows you to go at a much faster rate compared to doing it on your own. Coaching for me has provided different perspectives, different reframes that I was unable to see. Coaching has allowed a safe space to offload some of the thoughts and feelings, and also been an incredibly valuable tool to release the emotion that has been what feels like omnipresent and chaotic and powerful at times. I've been forced to confront anger, sadness, and a couple other emotions more than ever before, exploring my relationship with each of them. And it would not have been nearly as productive, impactful, or significant had I tried to go at it alone. And I think that's the one mistake that so many of us men make, is we think we have to go at it alone. We think it's a sign of weakness to ask for help. And I know that because I was that guy for so long. But there is such power in your vulnerability. I mean, think about it from an energetic perspective. Like you're dealing with X. X is hard, it's heavy, it keeps you up at night. You ruminate, you think, you replay, you reflect, and you do it over and over. You ruminate, you replay, you reflect over and over. Just think about how energetically exhausting, draining, depleting that is. And then compare that to having an opportunity, a safe space to get that out there, to get that off your chest, your heart, your head. And then depending on the type of coaching, the type of work I do, which is why I have a coach at the same modality, is being able to diffuse and release that emotion. And instantly there's a spaciousness, a clarity, a lightness, and an ease. And now you can take this energy to really anchor in that new perspective, that reframe, or to empower you to begin or continue utilizing the tools and practices you have to maintain energy and peace of mind. Coaching has allowed me to collapse the timeline of healing, processing, growing, and moving forward. And again, this isn't some quick fix overnight, boom, bada bing, it's done. It's an ongoing process. But I am much further ahead because of the coaching, because of the courage to ask for help, to share, again, with my coach, with my friends. And I can't echo that enough for you. The challenge being like, where in your life are you struggling that no one knows? Seriously, where are you struggling and you haven't told anybody? And I have an imagination, maybe you haven't told anybody because there's shame. There's guilt, fear of embarrassment, fear of judgment. And I'm also here to tell you, I get it. I understand. Yet, there is so much power in your vulnerability. There is so much strength in asking for help. And I encourage you, if you are struggling in any area of your life, yes, even on the golf course, you can ask for help, but anywhere in your life, ask for help. Tell somebody. Don't let those emotions fester, strengthen, intensify, and continue to hijack the steering wheel of your life. Again, there is so much power in your vulnerability, strength in asking for help. And as I've done a lot of journaling, a lot of words on pages this past couple of quarters, 3 words continue to come to the surface for me: acceptance, grace, and patience. Acceptance, achieving radical acceptance is not easy. In my case, reality is just different. Expectation versus reality, there's a clear incongruency, a gap to say the least. And I have had no choice but to begin updating reality, accepting the current circumstances, and understanding what is and what isn't right here, right now, and building off of that, working with it, not allowing it to take over and consume me. There's been plenty of periods of uncertainty, impatience, emotions are high. Yet have I done a good job, along with the help of my support network, of just accepting reality. This is where I am. This is what life looks like moving forward. Here are the updated frameworks, the bumpers, if you will. Maximize it. Go all in. There's no real reason I can't go achieve all my goals at all. Hell, my son and I have been to the golf course together now a couple of times. And let me tell you, that's a treat in and of itself. I made a joke to my friend. You want to simulate tournament pressure? Try having a fussy 10-month-old baby next to you while you're trying to sink a putt or get up and down. It's like you're looking over your shoulder. Is he going to be quiet? Is he okay? Is he bothering anybody else? Fuck it. Who cares? Let me just focus in, pre-shot routine, execute. Okay, then go tend to baby. That's a fun stressor. But it's acceptance. Acceptance. I've got a great article on the More Pars and Bogeys newsletter. I'll drop it below on the power as well as steps, tactics to help you achieve a place of acceptance. A place of acceptance doesn't mean you're free of any lingering emotion necessarily, too. Acceptance can coexist with some emotions that still need to be processed. But when you can accept reality, that can be an opportunity and a catalyst to move forward again, and to move forward perhaps faster than ever before. I talked about grace. This one's been challenging for me. Grace with myself. I mean, to be candid, it's Monday morning. What time is it? I don't even know what time it is. It's 9:30 Eastern time. I'm recording this episode now. I wanted this episode done yesterday. I wanted it done live, published at 5 a.m. today. Just didn't happen. And I've had to really let go of some of my timelines, due dates, and expectations for myself. And it's been challenging to do because I hold myself to a high standard. And I'm someone who really has the utmost respect for consistency, continuity, timeliness, and doing what it is I said I would do. And I have not been perfect. And I've had to really understand that it's okay to reschedule. It's okay to update and give myself permission to change my mind, change a timeline, and be at peace with it. Because candidly, there are many moments where I haven't had the energy or something else truly has been a priority over a podcast, a newsletter, a practice session on the range. And that's okay. And giving myself that grace, that flexibility has saved me from an infinite amount of frustration and negative critical self-talk that would have previously existed. And the last one is patience. I mean, that's the theme of my life. And the universe is testing me. It's been testing me for a while. And I have not always passed this test, especially in the last 6 months. But I found new levels of patience I didn't know existed. I've learned different things about myself as well as tools and tactics that can help me better practice patience, presence. And I'm grateful for that. Acceptance, grace, patience. Self-care being the fourth one. My workout routine is my drug. That's what grounds me, recalibrates me. I'm proud of remaining committed to with my non-negotiable 3 workouts per week. Shout out Sean, Fairway Performance, Sean Dykoff, episode, I believe 80 on the pod. Phenomenal dude, good friend, fortunate and grateful to call him a coach. 3 workouts a week, 3 golf-specific high-intensity workouts per week. 4th one squeezed in when I could. That's helped me immensely. Like if fitness is not a focal point, a non-negotiable part of your routine, you're doing yourself and your loved ones a major fucking disservice. Every successful individual on and off the course has a solid, consistent exercise routine. It is such a low-hanging fruit opportunity. It's a bullshit excuse if you're not in the gym or doing some form of workout at least 3 days per week, period. Fitness is literally the way you build a strong, resilient mindset. I'll get off my soapbox. I've been there before. I'll be there again. But for now, that's not the point of this episode. And then within patience, it's just the ability to the ability to step back. There it is. Acceptance, patience, stepping back to understand this is a season of life. It's been a season. A new season is on the horizon. And so long as I remain ruthless in my reflection, I remain committed to slowing down and caring for my body, my energy, and my well-being. Anything and everything I desire is possible. Golf is coming back up the priority list as certainty, clarity, predictability is back on the table. And it feels good. So I can tell you, we've got our at the club, Tampa Palms member guest, October 24, 5, 6, and that is where all of my focus is on. The practice, the speed training, the rounds played, it's all on the calendar. It's there. And will it be perfectly executed? Slim chance. But there is now an energy, an intentionality, and an opportunity that previously did not exist for a long period of time. And I'm going to capitalize on it. And take it one day at a time. Other golf-specific updates, because I know some of you just live for this. And maybe I'll bring it back at a more consistent clip. I'm not sure, but the beautiful thing about living down here in Florida is golf is a 12-month endeavor. Gotta love it. Got to absolutely love it. Big change. I alluded to in my Q2 recap. I injured my hip pretty good. It still lingered. It lingered a lot in the beginning of Q3 to the point I had a couple of lessons. I had to get rid of that really fast takeaway. It was just tearing up my hip. So my takeaway now is, it's all relative. It's all subjective. It's much slower and smoother. contact has been much more consistent, repeatable, and really where I've noticed the biggest positive impact is my ability to hit my long irons. My 6, 5, and 4 irons, I've always hit very inconsistently. I haven't used them much, to be honest. It was like a 7 or a 5 wood. Love my 5. Fucking love my 5, and hit my 5 iron off the tee quite a bit at Tampa Palms when I did play that one round, because it's such a narrow course. There's really only 2 holes at the moment, and I'll bring driver out. Driver is hitting 300 at a fairly consistent clip. Really pleased with that. I did have an opportunity. I just played around this weekend in Fort Lauderdale or West Palm area. Sent a few of those 300, ground was soaking wet, a lot of rain right before, just, plugged right in the fairway at about 300 yards. So that was exciting. I talked about the 5 iron. Really, it's just consistency. And again, capitalizing on this season of life. I don't know how long this new season is, but there's more energy, intentionality, and opportunity than there's been in a very long time. And I'm going to move forward with that. And I think the last thing I'll share is just thank you. Thank you for listening. You made it this far. This episode had the least amount to do with golf to date. It's vulnerable. I still feel really uncomfortable. There's still a part of me that's like, I guess we're going to publish this thing. We are. I thank you for listening. And again, I remind you, encourage you, if you're struggling right now, speak up. I don't care where it is you're struggling with golf, in your work life, in your marriage, in your parenting, in your personal life. You're unfulfilled, you lack clarity, you're scared, you're hurt, you're ashamed, angry, disappointed. Ask for help. Share it with somebody. Do not go at it alone. Asking for help accelerates results. And I think I'll pin here. And all of a sudden, I got one more thing. I could talk for hours. I try to do my best to stay organized and on track. It's really just giving yourself permission to. Hey, if golf needs to take a back seat, or anything in your life needs to take a back seat or be bumped up to the priority, it's just understanding that you are the author and operator of your life. You are the only one who has full control and say on how you calibrate where, when, and why you spend time, energy, and attention. And that calibration can happen from one season or chapter to the next. And so long as you're clear as to the why, when, and how you're recalibrating time spent with family versus work versus golf versus other commitments and extracurriculars, that ownership is what facilitates an inner peace. That ownership, though, absolutely needs to be translated into honest, effective communication to those major players in your life. Significant other, children, boss, employer, employees, partners, whatever that may be. But you are the only one who gets to decide when, why, and how those changes are made. And that honesty's got to start with yourself. Because for me, if I continue to try to tell myself, no, golf is still a priority, I would have invited in a whole range of anger, sadness, frustration, shame, guilt, regret, agitation, pissed offness, fuck this, thatness. So I had to recalibrate. And I give you permission to recalibrate. I give you permission and remind you, ask for help. There's power in vulnerability. There's strength in asking for help. I appreciate you. I'm here for you. I'm rooting for you. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you found it valuable, share it with a friend. Somebody else needs to hear this message, or there's something you took away, share it. Share it with that person. And we'll be back with our regular scheduled programming on Thursday, Monday, Thursday, every single week. A lot of great guests coming down the pipeline. I am so excited for you. Have a fantastic day. Start this week strong. And I'll talk to you on Thursday.